Have you ever noticed how many open worlds today feel like massive, beautiful deserts filled with nothing but repetitive chores and empty filler? We've all been there, staring at a map cluttered with hundreds of icons that feel more like a grocery list than an actual adventure. What if you could trade those hollow, copy-paste environments for worlds that actually feel alive, reactive, and genuinely worth exploring? Today, we are cutting through the noise to find the absolute titans of the genre, the maps that respect your intelligence and reward every step you take. If you're tired of checklist gaming and ready to be truly consumed by a digital horizon, let's dive into these 21 open worlds. Is there any world more lived in, more detailed, or more heartbreakingly beautiful than the American frontier in its dying days? Rockstar Games didn't just build a map here, they built a functioning ecosystem where every animal, every NPC, and every weather pattern feels like it exists regardless of whether you're looking at it. You play as Arthur Morgan, an outlaw caught between a world that no longer wants him and a gang that is slowly unraveling. The sheer density of the world is staggering, from the way mud clings to your boots to the unique interactions you can have with literally every person you pass on the road. The tactical combat is deliberate and weighty, forcing you to maintain your firearms and use cover effectively during high-stakes stagecoach robberies or desperate shootouts with the law. But it's the quiet moments, fishing in a mountain stream, grooming your horse, or sitting by a campfire listening to your gang members tell stories that truly anchor you in this reality. The world is so vast and full of stranger missions and hidden secrets that you could easily spend 50 hours just wandering the wilderness before even touching the second chapter of the main story. And here's where it gets interesting. The game's honor system isn't just a bar on a screen. It changes how the world perceives you and even alters the final beats of Arthur's journey. It's a slow-burn masterpiece that demands your attention and rewards it with a level of immersion that remains the gold standard for the industry. Whether you're hunting legendary animals or just watching the sunset over the Heartlands, Red Dead 2 is a world that feels impossible to leave. It's not just a game, it's a time machine to a brutal, beautiful past. What happens when you take the punishing, rewarding combat of a Souls game and drop it into a world designed with the help of George Martin? You get Elden Ring, a game that redefined what open world means by throwing out the quest markers and letting your own curiosity be your guide. The lands between are a hauntingly beautiful graveyard of empires filled with colossal architecture, hidden dungeons, and bosses that will make you question your life choices. Every time you see a distant tower or a strange glowing tree, you can go there and there is almost always something incredible waiting to be found. The combat is a deep tactical playground where your build is everything, allowing you to be a heavy armored tank, a nimble magic user, or anything in between. You know that moment when you find a hidden path that leads to an entire underground city you didn't even know existed? That's the magic of Elden Ring. It respects your intelligence and your sense of adventure by hiding its best content in plain sight. It's a game of constant water cooler moments where you'll be asking your friends, "Wait, you found a dragon where?" The sheer volume of content is actually overwhelming, with a map that seems to triple in size every time you think you've reached the edge. Between the intricate legacy dungeons and the vast open plains where you fight on horseback, the value for money here is almost comical. It's a world that demands mastery and rewards you with a sense of accomplishment that few other games can match. Elden Ring doesn't just swallow your time, it conquers it, leaving you obsessed with uncovering every last scrap of its cryptic lore. Could a single game really change the trajectory of an entire genre by simply letting the player climb anything they can see? Breath of the Wild stripped away the hand-holding of modern gaming and replaced it with a pure, systemic sandbox where the only limit is your creativity. Hyrule is a post-apocalyptic playground where the grass reacts to the wind, fire spreads realistically, and metal weapons attract lightning during storms. It's a world that functions on logic, allowing you to solve puzzles and win fights in ways the developers might not have even intended. The tactical layer comes from managing your resources, your weapons break, your food provides vital buffs, and the environment itself can be a weapon if you're smart enough to roll a boulder down a hill. There's a constant sense of discovery because the game never tells you where to go. You just look at the horizon, spot a shrine, and start walking. You might get sidetracked by a camp of bokoblins, a hidden korok seed, or just the need to cook a perfect meal to survive the cold of the mountains. And here's the hook. The game lets you walk straight to the final boss from the very beginning if you're brave or foolish enough. This level of freedom creates a personal narrative for every player where your journey through the ruins of Hyrule feels entirely your own. It's a bright, melancholic, and endlessly inventive world that proves that sometimes the best way to lead a player is to let them get lost. Breath of the Wild isn't just an adventure, it's a masterclass in organic exploration that makes every other map feel like a checklist. Do you ever wonder what it would be like to live in a city that is trying to kill you while looking absolutely gorgeous? Night City is the most dense, vertical, and atmospheric urban environment ever created in a video game, a neon-soaked labyrinth where every alleyway feels like it has a story. You play as V, a mercenary with a digital ghost in their head, navigating a world of corporate greed, street gangs, and cybernetic obsession. The game's open world isn't about vast empty spaces. It's about the suffocating, beautiful density of a future gone wrong. The tactical combat is incredibly varied, allowing you to play as a netrunner who hacks enemies from the shadows, a solo who kicks down doors with gorilla arms, or a techie who uses high-powered smart weapons. The sheer amount of cyberware and skill trees means your version of V will fight and move completely differently from anyone else's. You know that feeling when you drive through the city at night with the radio blasting, watching the rain reflect the neon lights? That's the immersion that keeps you glued to your screen for hours. Since its legendary 2.0 inches update, the game has become a polished powerhouse of content, with a story that is as much about philosophical questions as it is about high-speed car chases. The world is reactive, the characters are deeply human, even the ones that are mostly chrome, and the side quests often feel as important as the main plot. It's a dark, exhilarating ride that invites you to lose yourself in its cynical but addictive streets. Night City doesn't just want your time, it wants your soul, and by the end, you'll be happy to give it. Is there anything more satisfying than standing on a flower-covered hill, letting the wind guide you toward your next objective? Ghost of Tsushima is a visual poem disguised as an open-world action game, setting you loose on a stunning rendition of 13th century Japan. You are Jin Sakai, a samurai forced to abandon his code to repel a Mongol invasion. The world is a masterpiece of art direction, where every frame looks like a Kurosawa film, and the guiding wind mechanic keeps the screen clean of distracting UI. Tactical combat is the heart of the experience, offering a deep stance system that rewards you for analyzing your enemies and switching styles on the fly. You can play as the honorable samurai, engaging in cinematic duels, or the dishonorable ghost, using smoke bombs and kunai to strike from the shadows. The world is packed with meaningful side content, following foxes to shrines, composing haikus, or bathing in hot springs that actually makes your character stronger while giving you a moment of zen between battles. The director's cut adds the massive Iki Island expansion, bringing new layers to Jin's past and even more beautiful landscapes to explore. It's a game that respects your time by making every activity feel rewarding and every location feel unique. The flow of exploration is so natural that you'll often find yourself riding toward a distant smoke plume just to see what's happening, only to realize you've spent the last 3 hours liberating villages. It's a soulful, bloody, and breathtaking adventure that justifies every second of your attention. What happens when you give a tactical genius a massive open-world sandbox and a fleet of balloons to kidnap everything in sight? Metal Gear Solid V is the ultimate stealth action playground, where the world is your laboratory for chaos. As Big Boss, you are tasked with building your private army, and the game's open world, split between the rocky deserts of Afghanistan and the jungles of Africa, is where you find your recruits and resources. It's a game that values player agency above all else, letting you approach every mission in 1,000 different ways. The tactical depth is staggering. Do you sneak in at night when guard rotations are different, or do you call in a supply drop of sleeping gas and a sniper to cover your back? The Fox engine makes the movement and shooting feel incredibly fluid, but the real fun is the Fulton system, where you attach balloons to soldiers, tanks, and even sheep to send them back to your base. This creates a brilliant loop where every successful mission directly improves your gear and your mother base, making you feel like a true commander. You know that moment when a simple infiltration goes wrong, and you have to improvise an escape using a cardboard box and a rocket-punching prosthetic arm? That's the emergent gameplay that makes MGSV so addictive. The world is a reactive puzzle that learns from you. If you always get headshots, enemies start wearing helmets. If you attack at night, they get night vision goggles. It's a brilliant, somewhat unfinished, but mechanically perfect masterpiece that will have you obsessed with the perfect stealth run for months. Have you ever played an open-world RPG where the monsters actually feel like physical entities you can climb on and stab in the eye? Dragon's Dogma is a cult classic that turned into a powerhouse franchise by focusing on a sense of adventure that most games miss. The world of Grancis, or Vermund in the sequel, is a dangerous, untamed land where traveling at night is a death sentence if you aren't prepared. The game's pawn system, where you create a loyal AI companion who learns from other players, makes your journey feel like a true party-based Odyssey. The combat is some of the best in the genre, blending Capcom's action expertise with deep RPG mechanics. You can be a mage summoning literal tornadoes, a warrior swinging a sword twice your size, or a thief clinging to a griffin's back as it flies high into the sky. The tactical element comes from your party composition and your ability to exploit enemy weaknesses, like cutting off a hydra's head or dousing a griffin's wings in oil before setting them on fire. It's visceral, epic, and constantly surprising. The world doesn't hold your hand. Quests can be missed, NPCs can die, and the journey from one town to another can feel like an entire epic saga. It's a game that embraces friction, making you manage your inventory and your stamina, which only makes the victories feel more earned. Whether you're fighting a dragon in the ruins of a castle, or just trying to survive a goblin ambush in the woods, Dragon's Dogma provides a sense of scale and danger that few other worlds can replicate. It's a raw, ambitious, and endlessly replayable fantasy epic. Is there any historical setting more vibrant and massive than ancient Greece during the Peloponnesian War? Odyssey takes the Assassin's Creed formula and transforms it into a full-scale Greek tragedy where you play as a mercenary searching for your family. The world is a sun-drenched marvel of islands, cities, and turquoise seas, filled with mythical creatures and historical figures like Socrates. It's a world so large that it actually feels like a country, and you have your own ship, the Adrestia, to conquer the waves. The tactical combat is built on a deep RPG system, allowing you to specialize in hunter, warrior, or assassin trees. You can unleash godlike abilities like the Spartan kick or a teleporting spear strike, making you feel like a true hero of legend. The mercenary system, where powerful hunters track you down for your crimes, adds a constant layer of tension to your exploration. You know that feeling when you're in the middle of a fort and a high-level bounty hunter suddenly shows up to ruin your day? That's the chaos that keeps it fresh. Beyond the main story, the game is a bottomless pit of content, from massive conquest battles, where you fight alongside hundreds of soldiers, to hunting down the shadowy cult of Cosmos. The world is also home to legendary mythological beasts like the Minotaur and Medusa, providing some of the best boss fights in the series. It's a sprawling, colorful, and highly addictive journey that offers hundreds of hours of exploration. If you want to live out your own Odyssey in a world that never seems to end, this is your ship to sail. What happens when a beautiful mountain valley in Montana is taken over by a doomsday cult with a penchant for psychological warfare? Far Cry 5 takes the series' signature outpost clearing gameplay and drops it into a world that feels dangerously close to home. Hope County is a gorgeous but terrifying sandbox where you can go anywhere from the moment you finish the prologue. You are the Resistance, tasked with taking down Joseph Seed and his heralds across 3 massive regions, each with its own distinct flavor of madness. The tactical combat is all about the guns for hire and fangs for hire system. Who wouldn't want a diabetic bear named Cheeseburger or a sniper as a backup? You can approach every encounter with stealth, long-range explosives, or just a modified semi-truck with machine guns. The world is incredibly dynamic. You might be trying to fish in a quiet stream only for a cult plane to strafe you, leading to a chaotic chain reaction of explosions and animal attacks. It's the Far Cry chaos at its absolute peak. The game also features a robust map editor and the Far Cry Arcade, giving it near-infinite replayability through community-created missions. The soundtrack, the unsettling cult sermons on the radio, and the sheer beauty of the American Northwest create an atmosphere that is both inviting and deeply wrong. It's a fast-paced, high-octane open world that encourages you to cause as much trouble as possible. Whether you're liberating a town or just flying a plane through a tunnel, Far Cry 5 is a wild, unforgettable ride that is worth every minute of the mayhem. Is there a more vibrant and playful version of a digital city than the colorful San Francisco of Watch Dogs 2? Moving away from the dark tone of the original, this sequel embraces the hacker culture of Marcus Holloway and the DedSec crew. The open world is a brilliant, interactive toy box where almost everything connected to the internet is under your control. From traffic lights and steam pipes to the personal smartphones of every citizen, you have the power to cause digital chaos or be a silent ghost in the machine. The tactical depth comes from your hacker toolkit. You have a remote-controlled jumper and a drone that allow you to scout entire buildings without ever stepping foot inside. You can frame innocent guards for crimes, call in gang hits on police officers, or just remote drive cars into walls to create a distraction. It's a game that rewards cleverness over raw firepower, though you can certainly go in guns blazing if you choose. The city itself is incredibly detailed, with NPCs that react to your emotes, take selfies, and have actual conversations. You know that feeling when you solve a high-security puzzle without ever being seen, just by hopping between security cameras? That's the hacker high that makes this game so special. The missions are varied and often satirical, poking fun at Silicon Valley culture while telling a surprisingly engaging story about data privacy. It's a bright, fun, and mechanically dense open world that feels more relevant today than when it first launched. If you want to play with the world like it's your own personal computer, San Francisco is waiting for you to hit enter. How do you make a game where the open world itself is the main enemy and the primary mechanic? Hideo Kojima's Death Stranding is a singular experience that turned the fetch quest into a high-stakes survival epic. You play as Sam Porter Bridges, a delivery man in a shattered America where the barrier between the living and the dead has collapsed. The tactical layer isn't just about combat, it's about terrain. You have to balance your cargo, plan your route across treacherous mountains, and manage your stamina as you navigate timefall rain and invisible spectral entities. The real magic of the world is its asynchronous multiplayer. You never see other players, but you see their footprints. You'll find a bridge someone else built over a dangerous river or a ladder left behind to help you climb a cliff. This creates a powerful sense of community and isolation that makes every delivery feel like a contribution to a larger cause. The world is hauntingly beautiful and desolate, filled with mossy plains and jagged volcanic rocks that demand your absolute concentration to traverse. And here's where it gets intense. When you do encounter the BTs or the cargo-obsessed mules, the game shifts into a tense tactical encounter where your gear and your positioning are life or death. But the true satisfaction comes from finally reaching a distant outpost and hearing a soaring low-roar track as the landscape opens up before you. It's a slow, meditative, and deeply emotional journey that redefines what a game can be. Death Stranding isn't for everyone, but for those it clicks with, it's a world that stays in your mind forever. It's a masterpiece of atmosphere and connection. Have you ever wanted to play a medieval RPG where you aren't a chosen one, but just a blacksmith's son who can't even read or hold a sword properly? Kingdom Come is a brutally realistic open world set in 15th century Bohemia, where every action has a consequence and the world doesn't care if you survive. You are Henry, and to survive this world, you have to actually learn its rules. You have to practice combat, keep your clothes clean to impress nobles, and even eat and sleep to stay healthy. It's immersion taken to its logical extreme. The tactical combat is a complex, physics-based system that requires you to manage your stamina and your strikes from 6 different directions. Wearing heavy armor makes you a tank, but drains your energy and limits your vision, while light clothing makes you faster but vulnerable. The sequel takes everything that made the first game a cult hit: the incredible historical accuracy, the deep quest design, and the muddy, lived-in world, and scales it up to a massive professional level. It's a world where a simple conversation can lead to a drunken night out or a deadly political feud. The value here comes from the sheer depth of the role-playing. You can be a stealthy thief, a silver-tongued diplomat, or a master swordsman, but you have to earn every bit of progress. The world is a gorgeous rendition of the European countryside, filled with dense forests, bustling medieval towns, and accurate historical architecture. It's a game for those who want to live in history, flaws and all. Kingdom Come doesn't just swallow your time, it transports you to a different century and dares you to survive it. It's a raw, challenging, and deeply rewarding experience. While many open worlds are about infinite distractions, Mafia Definitive Edition is a masterclass in using a massive city to ground a tight cinematic narrative. The City of Lost Heaven is a beautiful, atmospheric rendition of 1930s America, filled with classic cars, jazz music, and the looming shadow of the Great Depression. You play as Tommy Angelo, a cab driver who gets pulled into the world of organized crime. The open world serves as a gorgeous stage for a story about loyalty, betrayal, and the cost of the American dream. The tactical gameplay is a mix of cover-based shooting and some of the most challenging and realistic driving in the genre. You have to follow traffic laws to avoid police attention, and the cars of the era handle with a weighty, deliberate feel that makes every high-speed chase feel dangerous. The definitive edition completely rebuilt the game from the ground up, adding incredible facial animations, a revamped script, and a lighting engine that makes the city look stunning during a rainy night in the 30s. You know that feeling when you're driving a luxury Bolt through the city as the sun sets, feeling like you own the world right before a hit goes wrong? That's the mood Mafia nails perfectly. It's a shorter experience than something like Elden Ring, but every minute is packed with high-quality production value and a story that will stay with you long after the credits roll. It's a value experience because of its polish and its emotional impact. For fans of The Godfather or Goodfellas, Lost Heaven is a city that demands a visit. It's a stylish, brutal, and perfectly paced crime epic. If most open worlds are about immersion and story, Just Cause 3 is about one thing and one thing only, making things explode in the most creative ways possible. You play as Rico Rodriguez, a man who is basically a human physics-defying wrecking ball, tasked with liberating the Mediterranean island paradise of Medici from a brutal dictator, armed with a grappling hook, a parachute, and a wingsuit. The world is your playground for absolute, unadulterated chaos. You aren't just exploring a map, you are dismantling it piece by piece. The tactical depth comes from the tether system. Why shoot a fuel tank when you can tether it to a passing jet? You can link objects together, reel yourself toward enemies, and transition seamlessly from a high-speed car to a flying wingsuit. The game encourages you to break its missions by being as creative as possible with your gadgets. The world is a bright, sun-soaked expanse of blue water and white stone villages that serves as the perfect backdrop for giant red and orange explosions. It's the ultimate guilty pleasure open world. You know that moment when you grapple onto a gas canister, shoot it, and ride it into the air like a rocket? That's the pure distilled fun that Just Cause 3 provides. Between liberating provinces, completing stunt challenges, and finding the perfect weapon to level a military base, there is always something to destroy. It's a game that doesn't take itself seriously and wants you to do the same. If you're tired of deep lore and just want to see how many tanks you can tether to a windmill, Rico is your man. It's a high-octane, hilarious, and visually spectacular explosion simulator. What happens when you combine a massive, beautiful Oregon wilderness with a horde of thousands of fast-moving freakers that react as a single, terrifying entity? Days Gone is an underrated open-world masterpiece that focuses on the bond between a man and his motorcycle. You play as Deacon St. John, a drifter surviving in a world where society has collapsed. Your bike isn't just a vehicle, it's your lifeline. You have to find fuel, repair parts, and upgrade its engine to survive the brutal landscapes and the even more brutal things that live in them. The tactical heart of the game is the horde system. Taking down a horde isn't just about shooting, it's about preparation. You have to scout the environment, set traps, plan your escape route, and manage your ammo perfectly to survive a tidal wave of hundreds of enemies. It's some of the most intense tactical combat in any open-world game, making your hands sweat as you hear the collective scream of the freakers behind you. The world is also home to dangerous human factions and mutated wildlife, ensuring that you're never truly safe, even when you're just enjoying the stunning forest scenery. The story is a surprisingly emotional journey about loss and hope, with a slow burn narrative that really pays off in the final act. The world is vast and reactive, with weather that changes the handling of your bike and day-night cycles that determine how aggressive the freakers are. It's a game that rewards patience and careful resource management. For those who love a survival-light experience with a lot of grit and a great atmosphere, Days Gone is a road trip you need to take. It's a long, challenging, and ultimately rewarding ride through the end of the world. Have you ever imagined a world where nature has reclaimed the Earth, and the top of the food chain is occupied by massive animal-like machines? Horizon is one of the most unique and visually stunning open worlds ever conceived, blending tribal cultures with mysterious ancient technology. You play as Aloy, an outcast hunter on a quest to uncover her origins and the secrets of why the world ended. From the snowy mountains of the Sacred Lands to the tropical ruins of San Francisco, the world is a constant marvel of art direction and mystery. The tactical combat is the star of the show, requiring you to use your focus to scan machines and identify their weak points. You have to use a variety of bows, traps, and rope casters to strip armor off a Thunderjaw or freeze a Snap Maw before it can lunge at you. Every encounter feels like a high-stakes hunt where you have to be smarter than your prey. The sequel, Forbidden West, takes this even further, with new underwater exploration, flying mounts, and even more complex machines that will test your reflexes and your strategy to the limit. The lore is deep and genuinely fascinating, rewarding players who take the time to find audio logs and ancient vantage points that show what the world looked like before the machines took over. It's a perfect blend of high-speed action and thoughtful exploration, with a world that feels both alien and familiar. Between the stunning visuals, the engaging combat, and Aloy's personal journey, the Horizon series offers a premium open-world experience that justifies every hour you spend in it. It's a vibrant, imaginative, and masterfully crafted universe that proves there's still plenty of room for new ideas in the genre. How do you make an open world feel alive when it's mostly filled with the undead? You make the player the most agile thing in the city. Dying Light 2 is a parkour action RPG set in Vildor, one of the last bastions of humanity. The tactical depth here comes from how you navigate the environment. The ground is a death trap filled with zombies, so you spend your time sprinting across rooftops, swinging from cranes, and using a paraglider to traverse the massive urban landscape. The world is built vertically, making the how of getting to a quest just as fun as the quest itself. The combat is a brutal, melee-focused system where you have to time your parries and use the environment to your advantage. You can kick enemies off ledges, use parkour moves to vault over them, and craft increasingly ridiculous weapons like electrified machetes or exploding hammers. But the real game changer is the day-night cycle. During the day, you are the predator. At night, the truly terrifying volatiles come out, turning the city into a high-stakes stealth horror game where every move could be your last. The world is also reactive to your choices. By assigning resources like water or electricity to different factions, you literally change the layout of the city and what tools are available to you. It's a massive, high-energy sandbox that rewards skill and exploration. With hundreds of hours of content, including a deep gear system and co-op play, the value here is undeniable. If you want an open world that keeps your heart rate up and your feet off the ground, Dying Light 2 is a parkour playground that never stops delivering thrills. It's fast, it's bloody, and it's incredibly addictive. What does it feel like to truly be the Batman in a Gotham City that has been completely abandoned and taken over by his greatest enemies? Arkham Knight is the ultimate superhero simulation, providing a dark, rain-slicked open world that is dripping with atmosphere and detail. Every corner of the city feels like it was ripped straight from the comics, from the neon signs of Chinatown to the Gothic spires of Wayne Tower. This time, you have the Batmobile, a high-tech tank and pursuit vehicle that integrates seamlessly into Batman's tactical arsenal. The free-flow combat and Predator stealth remain the best in the business, allowing you to take on dozens of thugs with a rhythmic grace or pick them off one by one from the shadows using a massive array of gadgets. The tactical layer is expanded with fierce multi-takedowns and environmental interactions that make you feel like an unstoppable force of nature. The world is a giant puzzle box, filled with Riddler challenges, side cases involving serial killers, and high-speed chases through the winding streets of Gotham. The narrative is a gripping finale to the Arkham trilogy, featuring a hallucinating Joker and the mysterious Arkham Knight, who knows all of Batman's secrets. The level of polish and production value is staggering, making it one of the best-looking games even years after its release. It's a dense, focused open world that doesn't waste your time with filler, but instead makes every street corner feel important to the mission. For anyone who has ever wanted to don the cape and cowl, Arkham Knight is the definitive experience. Gotham is a dark, dangerous, and beautiful world that only the Dark Knight can save. Whether you're looking for historical immersion or futuristic chaos, these open worlds are the pinnacle of the genre. Each of these titles offers a massive return on investment, providing hundreds of hours of stories you'll never forget. Which of these digital horizons are you planning to cross next? And did your favorite world make our list? Drop a comment below with your most legendary open world moment, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one as we continue to explore the best games on the planet.